What's up, guys and gals? I'm outside on this gloomy day. Just wanted to update on my last video. There were some questions on there that kind of need a little bit of explanation. So I figured I'd bring them to you. But I figured, I got some free time. Might as well go ahead and explain to them. Everybody that was wondering, there's my Suburban there. You can kind of see it. Just been parked over here. Haven't had time to put those springs on. But, okay. Let's see here. George Buchanan, or Buchanan, lost some respect for me. I'm sorry, man. It's just, when I make videos, they're not scripted. I don't think about what I'm going to talk about ahead of time, really. So therefore, if I bring something up and then try to change my mind at that last little second, because I remember that some people watch my videos or whatever, it's not intentional. It's not like I bring it up just for that. But my neighbors are coming in. They're kind of loud, so let me pause this. Okay, now that they're gone. Get back to my little spot here. I was explaining about, that I don't do this off the top of my head or make a script. I mean, it comes off the top of my head. I don't make a script or anything like that. So, certain things, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I know it's going to catch up with me eventually. I've been saving some money because for the last 8 weeks, they haven't been charging me for my trailer payment. Now, granted, of course, it's going to catch up to me, and I'm going to start having to make that payment, and it won't be paid for until I make all the payments. So, it is what it is. But for right now, I've kind of got lucky on that. Okay, let's see. Problem number 2. Mark Smith, man, I laughed when I saw your comment. Comment said, dude loves cruising bobtail with no loads. I saw that and I had to laugh. That was just hilarious. I couldn't help but laugh with that one. And then Dune 714 commented that you give it 30 to 60 days. Obviously, I can tell by that you're new to my channel. Been doing this quite a while. I know my numbers before I come home. Obviously, I'm not going to come home if I'm in the negative because it wouldn't make sense, obviously. Let's see here. John Seabolt said, don't understand, you just got done saying that people feel due to going home too much or from deadheading and going home too much and driving at high speeds burning fuel. But then you say it like it's no big deal when you do it. Are you missing something? No, you're not missing something. What you got to take into fact is, yes, a lot of people do go home quite a bit. Lately, yes, I have been going... Mel, get over here. Melmo. Damn dog's out in the middle of the street. Give me a second, guys. Mel, this way.
Come here, baby.
Go get him. I have been coming home a lot lately. But that's because I've had stuff that I've had to take care of. But of course, before I make sure I come home, like I just recently said, I make sure my numbers are there. I make sure that all my expenses are going to be paid before I come home. If not, I'm not going to go home. And then I did put on there deadheading. Yes, there is a lot of deadheading. But that goes into a fact of, when I mean deadheading, what I'm mainly focused on is I'm not saying deadheading to go home, because there's times that, you're going to have to deadhead to come home. What I'm getting at by deadheading is when you're picking up a load that's, you're deadheading 300 miles for, and it might seem like that load's paying you, say $1.50 ahead of time, but then when you count in that deadhead miles, that goes from like $1.50 down to $1.40, $1.30, $1.20, depending on how far you got deadhead. So I mean, that part is what I'm getting at as far as the deadheading part goes. Same thing with the high rate of speed. Okay, I hardly run over 70 miles an hour. Hell, I hardly really run over 65, to be honest with you. Granted, I was coming home, I was running 75. I'm empty. there's no weight there, so that speed doesn't affect my fuel mileage. I was still getting 7 miles a gallon at running 75 miles an hour. Now, when you have a load, that's something else. Definitely, yeah, the high speed kills it because you're trying to pull all that weight now, so you're gonna lose speed. Damn, cigarette went out. But anyways, let's see here. Got my daughter's iPod over here helping me out on these videos or on these questions. Let's see here. Next question was Trucker Rick asked about the Meyer in Lansing. No, it was Newport, Michigan that I was at, and it fucking sucked. I'll never go probably to another Meyer again. BT4B4, do what you got to do, brother. Be safe. I appreciate that. Robert Lopez, hammer down to home. Good choice. Sometimes it's a good choice, but the only time I do full speed when I'm coming home is if I can do it in a day. Even if I have a load that I'm bringing to the house, I don't haul ass. That was just because I was cutting it close on time. Let's see here. Vince Star, you said that you love my videos. Keep them coming. There's good info. Appreciate that. Let's see, what else did you say? Not used to an Apple, so give me a second, guys. It's bearing with me. I do agree that you could do better if you cut down the deadheading. Yeah, granted, it's holiday time, so I'm going to be deadheading a lot more now than what I do throughout the rest of the year. Plus, it's just happened to be that, I was in a bad area. I didn't want to deadhead home. I had a load that was going to bring me home or bring me through the house to deliver on Monday. That load got canceled last minute. So, I mean, you can only do so much, and I'm not going to sit around for nothing, when I can get home to do what I need to do. And fight for what you're owned on the 240, I am. I'm still constantly questioning my dispatcher about that 240. But the way I think about it, if it doesn't get paid, I'm not really that worried about it because I'm still making plenty of money. Now, if I was like some of these drivers over here where they're constantly, and I mean constantly, in the fucking hole getting negative paychecks after negative paychecks, then yeah, I'd be bitching a lot more about it. But for me, 240, that ain't shit. You know what I mean? It's just, it's money, but it's, it is what it is. Gangsta Brown, you don't get why I got so excited about less than $1,000 a week. What about taxes and health insurance? My health insurance is actually paid for by the state. I am on that Obamacare crap that is free because I didn't make, supposedly, because I filed so much stuff to claim last year. I showed that I only made $10,000 last year. Granted, I made over $150,000, but I brought it all down to showing that I only made $10,000. So I qualified for free medical. Taxes wise, like I said, a lot of you guys bring up the tax part. I bring my taxes way down, way down. My 3 kids helped me out quite a bit on that, of course. Last year I was supposed to get $7,000 back. I owed IRS a little bit of money from a couple years ago, so they kept that. So now I'm down to like $1,500 that I owe IRS. So coming, I got payment arrangements and all that with them. So it's slowly coming down over time. But so yeah, last year, even though I made $150,000, I showed that I brought my taxes down to $10,000. That's qualified me to get even more money back. I didn't pay nothing last year, nothing, and I was going to get $7,000 back. So I mean, tax wise, I'm not worried about it. I do have money in savings for taxes, so that's what that's what it goes for that just in case reason, just in case I fuck up and don't file for something. Let's see. You said if I have so much choice in load boards and picking my own freight, why do I rely on a dispatcher so much? I don't. It's just been that lately my dispatchers have been finding me some pretty decent freight, and they find it before I can actually look on before I get a chance to look on the load boards for a load. So of course, if it's paying all right, I go ahead and take it. There's been a couple times that their loads ain't paying shit, so I turn them down and say no, I'll find my own load. And Mark, again, He prefers the bobtail, if possible, for better fuel mileage. Dude, that's comedy, dude. It really is. Let's see here. There was a couple more. Let's see. Fleetwood's mentioned it as more and more people join Eagle, jumping on the wow factor. Being able to pick and choose your own rates, it will be eventually less freight to go around. No, that's not true, because I mean there's damn car. Damn, that's a Camaro and it's running like shit. As far as freight goes, there's so many damn brokers out there. There's so much freight going around. It's not just Eagle that's booking your own freight. There's other companies out there that you can book your own freight through. I'm not used to the camera being on the other side, sorry. So, I mean, that's not the issue. Glenn Forbes, you gave me your phone number. I'm going to give you a call here as soon as I get this video done. Which, of course, you'll know that because I've already talked to you before this thing uploads. Well, with that being said, guys, that was just a quick little update. Let's see. It was just to kind of clear the air a little bit. You know, it's not that I'm deadheading home a lot. Granted, the last few weeks, yeah, it seemed that way. But it's not a normal thing. I don't normally come home every weekend. It was just, you know, the holiday. You know, come home for Halloween, have fun with family, shit like that. I would have been stuck in Atlanta anyways. Plus, I had to help my brother move. So, I mean, there was more stuff that I needed to come home for. I'll give it back to you in a minute after I turn off the internet. But other than that, you know, granted, if this is going out to, there was one comment, I don't think I read it, but there was one comment on there saying that if people follow me and do exactly what I do, they're gonna fail. In a way, that could be true. It all depends on how much money you make. You know, if you're making, you know, shit pay on rates, then yeah, you're not gonna be able to bring home the good money. I mean, granted, $1,000, yeah, $1,000, that's not super high, but you got to figure that $1,000 for me deadheading home damn near 600, what was it, 640 some odd miles, and still bringing home $1,000. You got to admit that's not bad money for deadheading home that far, because the fuel came out of that. So, you know, that was a couple $100 in fuel, you know. But all in all, I mean, you know, it's not the best thing to do, you know. I will say that. I will be honest with you guys as much as I possibly can. Deadheading as much as I've deadheaded does hurt the pocketbook. As you can see, there's my semi. We're parked at the house, but there's no trailer. Just a truck. Trailer's over at the truck stop, so don't get no ideas thinking I left it over in Atlanta. No, I didn't leave the trailer in Atlanta. Trailer's actually down the street at a truck stop, because my apartments that I live in, I could bring the trailer home, but I'd probably piss off some people. I can make it fit over here, but I'd piss off a lot of people. So that's why I just bring the truck. But yeah, if you guys were following me and you guys did exactly what I did, you guys came home and all this, yeah, you could possibly fail. It's just, you know, I make sure my payment, my fuel, my bills at home, you know, everything that my paycheck wise, before that idea the idea might be in my head, okay, to come home. But before I physically agree to it and say, yep, we're going home, I go over my paycheck and I make sure that I'm still going to get a paycheck. Or I don't do it. I will sit there. But, you know, to each their own, you know. I try to help you guys out as much as I possibly can. That's weird how this thing is shadowing like it is. But, blaming on the overcast skies over here in Kentucky. It was supposed to be raining all day, but it took a little bit of a break. But this video is kind of already long as it is, so I'm going to go ahead and let it go. So with that being said, guys, we'll see you next Friday for an update on week number 9. Maybe, and I still plan on doing that other video. I just got to get the time to do it. Get all the shit set up to do it. But with that being said, drive safe, guys. Stay profitable. Keep that shiny side up. Like, share, subscribe if you like my videos. And we will see you next week. Drive safe.